Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Hi,
Yes,
Herman.
we can.
We can hear you.
Yay.
Just nobody's gonna get seen today. That's okay though.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do we not have Mr. Varwig today?
No, do you want me to text him?
If you would, that would be great because we're going to get started here. All right, I'm officially calling to order our special called meeting for what is today? Wow, June 29th, 2023. We have a couple of items to get through tonight. I think we've, for the most part, have cut out any other items that we may or may not, as we usually do. So first up is our first public hearing, and that is a public hearing regarding declaring the city's election to receive state revenue for fiscal year 2023-2024. So the matter presently before the hearing body requires a public hearing. All interested persons in attendance shall be heard on the matter. This public hearing was noticed, and those who were instructed to contact the city recorder. We did not receive any requests to speak, and since we're virtual, Maya, I'm presuming that we don't have anybody in queue.
That's correct.
Thank you. For longer presentations, proponents and opponents may buy time from one another. In so doing, those either in favor or opposed may allocate their time to a spokesperson who will represent the entire group. All questions must be directed through the mayor. Any evidence to be considered must be submitted to the hearing body for public access. All written testimony received both for and against shall be summarized by staff and presented briefly to the hearing body during the staff report. The public hearing will be conducted as follows. We'll have the staff report, questions, if any, by the hearing body. I will then open the public hearing for testimony for proponents and opponents. I will then close the public hearing. Questions, if any, new ones by the hearing body, and then a discussion as necessary by the hearing body. A decision shall be made by the hearing body at the close of this hearing, or the matter will be continued to a date certain in the future. This will be the only notice of that date you will receive. Does anyone have any questions about the procedure of the hearing? If so, either if you're at City Hall, raise your hand, or pop up your hand on your screen if you're via Zoom. All right, seeing none, we'll go into the staff report.
But don't we have two public hearings?
Yeah, we'll do the
Oh, okay.
next one. Eric, do you want to give the staff report?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay,
The summary is the adoption of resolution 1386 declaring the city's election to receive state revenues for FY 2024. ORS 221.770 requires cities to annually pass an ordinance or resolution requesting state revenue sharing money. The law mandates public hearings to be held by the city before the budget committee to discuss possible uses of the funds, and before the city council on the proposed uses of the funds in relation to the entire budget. Certification of these hearings are required. This has been done and filed with the Oregon. This has to be done and filed with the Oregon Department of Admin Services prior to July 31st. Discussion: every year, the city must hold a public hearing before the budget committee and the city council, giving citizens the opportunity to comment on the use of the state revenue sharing funds. Public hearing before the budget committee was held on May 18th, May 25th, and again on June 1st, 2023, and before the city council on June 29th, 2023. The city is required to certify that the public hearings were held and the city does elect to receive state revenue sharing funds. Staff estimates the city will receive $240,000 in state revenue sharing funds. Options are to approve the resolution and receive the state revenue sharing funds, or do not approve, resulting in necessary reductions to the general fund budget to maintain a balanced budget for the city of Canby financial policies. Staff recommends the council adopt resolution 1386.
So council, as you know, this is a bit of a housekeeping item. You actually already approved the budget last week. So this is really just to make sure that the public hearing was held before we submit all the resolutions to the state.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Any questions for staff at this point?
No.
Okay, well then I will open up the public hearing. I used my imaginary gavel. We have no proponents. We have no opponents, so I will officially close the public hearing. Are there any new questions that need to be asked?
No, Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt resolution 1386, a resolution declaring the city's election to receive state revenue funds for FY 2024.
A second.
Motion's been made by Council President Hensley, seconded by Councilor Varwig to adopt resolution 1386. Declaring a resolution declaring the city's election to receive state revenue funds for FY 2024. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That carries 6-0. Joe, I know that I often ask this question when we have evenings that we double up on public hearings. Am I required to read the second? Yeah. I think after 12 years, I would have learned this. What's so funny?
Oh, I just said, yeah.
No, I heard you say, yeah. Was there more?
Nope. It's funny how hopeful how much hope there was in your voice that he would say no.
No, there truly was hope in my voice. And if you could see my face right now, you would see that I'm crushed. All right, so our second public hearing this evening is regarding setting fees for services and repealing resolution 1370 and all previous resolutions adopting a master fee schedule. The matter presently before the hearing body requires a public hearing. All interested persons in attendance shall be heard on the matter. This public hearing was noticed, and those who wish to speak were instructed to contact the city recorder. We did not receive any requests to speak of, and I don't believe we have any new ones.
Correct.
True, yeah.
Great. Those people that are interested in testifying as either proponents or opponents, please indicate your desire to speak by raising your hands, virtual hands at this time, or handing a card to our city recorder, and so there are none. For longer presentations, proponents and opponents may buy time from one another. In so doing, those either in favor or opposed may allocate their time to a spokesperson who will represent the entire group. All questions must be directed through the mayor. Any evidence to be considered must be submitted to the hearing body for public access. All written testimony received both for and against shall be summarized by staff and presented briefly to the hearing body during the staff report. This public hearing will be conducted as follows. There'll be staff report, questions by the hearing body, if any. I will then open the public hearing. We will hear from the proponents and opponents. I will then close the public hearing, and then again, any questions and then discussion. A decision shall be made by the hearing body at the close of the hearing, or the matter will be continued to a date certain in the future. This will be the only notice of that date you will receive. And does anyone have any questions? All right, seeing none, we will go into the staff report.
Okay,
Thank you.
consider resolution 1389, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Canby, Oregon, setting fees for services and repealing resolution 1370. Background and annual review of the master fee schedule has been completed by each city department. Staff is proposing the following changes effective July 1st, 2023. Attached is Exhibit A summarizing the proposed fee changes. Exhibit B showing a comparison of current fees versus the proposed fees. And Exhibit C reflects the new schedule effective as noted here, and if all changes are adopted. Under the discussion, I will just briefly go through this and people can ask questions if they want. Library fees, there's a reduction of fee to 10 cents per day. Utility fees, there's increase in park maintenance fee. Parks, there's a new fee for the Waite Park banner and removal introduced. Main Street, removing the early bird and regular registration fee for the Independence Day car show and setting a standard fee for all participants. Public Works is a new fee for the Grant Street Arch banner and install and removal. SDCs have increased due to inflation. I would suggest you look at Exhibit A for the changes to all of those SDC fees. In planning, there's a correction on the site and design review fees. Last year, the percentage incorrectly was shown at 0.002%. The correct amount is really 0.2%. Fiscal impact, please see the change summary Exhibit A for a list of fees that have been increased, added, or removed. Options are to approve the resolution and set the fees for services as of July 1st, 2023. Do not approve the resolution and maintain the fees set July 1st, 2022. Staff recommends that council adopt resolution 1389.
Great. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it. Any questions right now for staff? Okay, not seeing any hands. I will now officially open the public hearing for testimony. So as far as I know, we have no proponents and we have no opponents to the fee schedule change. I will now close the public hearing and then so that's done. Any new questions from the council? Okay, seeing none, any discussion on the matter? Seeing none. Group, is there a motion for fee
I'll
schedule?
make the motion. I move to adopt resolution 1389, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Canby, Oregon, setting fees for services and repealing resolution 1370 and all previous resolutions, adopting a master fee schedule.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilor Davis, second by Councilor Padden, to adopt resolution number 1389, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Canby, Oregon, setting fees for services and repealing resolution 1370 and all previous resolutions, adopting a master fee schedule. Any other discussion? Okay, by a show of hands, all those in favor? I've got Councilor Bangs, Councilor Patton, and Councilor Davis. Thank you. All those opposed, please hands up on the screens. Any abstentions?
We're Counselor.
Councilor Maldonado and Councilor Varwig, are you for, against, or abstaining?
I'm Councilor Varwig, I'm for it.
You're for, okay?
Councilor Maldonado for it.
Okay. So motion passes 5-1. Okay, next on our agenda this evening are resolutions. Item number A, resolution 1386.
That one you just approved, the first two resolutions you've just approved.
Perfect. Item C, Resolution number 1391, a resolution amending the personal services agreement with Barry Elsner and Hammond LLP for interim legal services for the city of Canby. And Eileen and Joe?
So council, what this resolution is doing is extending the Barry Elsner contract through, which had been effective through May 31st. This is extending it until we get to that point where we have to adopt. It's extending it through, it's making it effective July 1st, which gets us through the period of time that we have Joe with us. And then on the July 5th meeting, there is an ordinance that would extend the contract even further to the 149,999 amount. And then the second reading will be at the second meeting in July. So through all that process, we will be covered with legal services by Barry Elsner and Hammond until the council decides what it's going to do with its city manager or city attorney recruitment. So we will be covered with legal services.
And I could add, so the resolution does, it starts them off officially on July 18. But the idea is when you guys originally used them in an interim fashion before, they were under this contract with this scope. They had self-imposed kind of a timeline at the end of May. So that wasn't really, we'd gone through the procurement process with them in that. And so we can really take that up to 49,000 without violating our own charter, which calls for an ordinance after at the 50,000 mark. For the following 5th and then 19th of July meetings, we are putting forward an ordinance so that then you can get it clear up to 149,000 without violating or without violating public procurement law, because you've gone through a formal quote process. So what we're doing is there's two things. We have to follow not only public procurement, we have to follow our own need to have an ordinance over 50,000. And this is the same sort of thing we had to do with Eileen Stein here, is because we're trying to do it faster than our ordinance process, which is 2 readings and a 30-day waiting period. We're putting it in as a $49,000 cap until we can get an ordinance, and then you'll be at $150,000.
We were saying the RFP, we'd have to go out for an RFP if we go over the 149. Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
Okay, we have a question before you
Oh.
make a motion, which is what I'm proposing that, so Councilor Banks.
Thank you. I was going to make a motion. I hate to take that thunder away from Jason, but I do move to approve resolution number 1391, amending a personal services agreement with Barry Elsner and Hammond LLP for interim legal services for the city of Canby.
Okay, I'm back.
I'm sorry, Council President Hensley, what was that?
All right, I'm sorry. I'm back. I'm not sure what's happening. My computer was down because I lost internet because the power went out for a minute.
Okay,
I think there's
we
been
have a motion from Councilor Banks to approve resolution 1391. Is there a second?
Okay, I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made by Councilor Banks to approve resolution number 1391, a resolution amending the personal services agreement with Barry Elsner and Hammond LLP for interim legal services for the city of Canby. And it was seconded by Councilor Maldonado. All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
I'm sorry, Councilor Varwig, that was a for or against? Counselor Varway.
Does he live on the north side too? Where they're having the,
No, he's at work, actually.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with.
He's an I, he just texted me. He's
Internet
trying to say
outage.
it.
We're all
Gotta keep-
experiencing internet outage.
Yeah, I keep finding my,
Mr. City Attorney,
Do
yes,
you need to see my phone?
how does that work in this situation where does that count as an I or should we count it as an abstention?
well, I believe he was saying aye.
Yeah, we heard
Yeah.
Okay.
before you
I
moved
heard
on,
aye.
so.
All right, well, we are recording this and our city attorney is on record saying that he heard I, as is Patton and Davis.
The other thing is that no matter what, the ayes will prevail because there's so many of them.
Okay, I'm just trying to record and be above board, okay, there.
Thanks.
All right, so that motion passes 6-0.
We'll have this hearing checked.
Next on the agenda is resolution number 1392, a resolution certifying the city of Canby is eligible for fiscal year 2024 to receive state shared revenues for cigarettes, liquor, 911, and highway gas taxes because it provides 4 or more municipal services. And I'll leave that for Eileen and Joe and Eric.
Yeah, so Council, Eric will give a staff report on this. But as we were going through the process of kind of checking off our list, we realized that we didn't have this one on the agenda last time that the budget, when the budget was presented for adoption. And so this memo this resolution does not require a public hearing, but it does require adoption by the city council that the city receives all of these. That the city is eligible to receive all of state revenue sharing because the city provides the following municipal services. Eric, is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think you covered it. This is just a resolution to certify that we are eligible to receive the state revenue sharing.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt resolution 1392, a resolution certifying that the city of Canby is eligible in fiscal year 2024 to receive state shared revenues, cigarette, liquor, 911, and highway gas taxes because the city of Canby provides 4 or more municipal services.
I second.
Motion has been made by Counselor Patton and seconded by Counselor Maldonado to approve 1392, a resolution certifying the city of Canby is eligible in fiscal year 2024 to receive state shared revenues for cigarettes, liquor, 911, and highway gas taxes because it provides 4 or more municipal services. Any further questions or discussion? Counselor Bangs?
Thank you. I'm going to vote yes on this motion, but it strikes me that we could also be receiving state revenue for marijuana if we asked our voters to reconsider that. And I don't know what the amount of money might be. I know that we would qualify for it even if we didn't have those shops. And so I think that would be a benefit for the community. I would not recommend the council make that decision on its own. I think that would have to go to the voters. So I would like to bring that discussion up at some point in the future.
Okay. I guess my question is, what is it that we receive? I didn't realize 911 is a revenue generator for the city.
Are you asking about the services?
Yes, within the state shared revenue piece, it lists cigarettes and liquor, which familiar with both of those, and the gas tax, also familiar with that. The 911, though, what is the shared revenue in that?
Just so you guys know, in the budget, there is a line for the liquor licenses and the cigarette tax, but the state revenue sharing is its own line item. So I don't know if that's combining all four of those in a different way or how that works, but the state revenue sharing that we're talking about right now is a single line item in the general funds revenue section. So
And Mr. Mayor,
there's not a 911 revenue showing on the budget document here.
Okay. Mr. Lindsay?
well, I might speculate that that would be something that maybe the state receives some sort of fee that gets passed on to, every user of telephone that then they share with everybody who has police services. But I don't know that for a fact.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So a motion's been made and seconded. Any other questions or discussion items? All right, seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, that passes 6-0. That takes care of resolutions for this evening. Item number 4 on our agenda is under old business, and that's the city administrator and city attorney recruitment.
Yeah, so, we're here having, the last meeting, we brought forward 4 prospective recruiters and their offers for services for the city of Canby. Those remain the same. What we've done in the interim between then and now is I reached out to the same 4 and said, is there going to be some cost savings associated with adding a second recruitment at the same time? Most conceded that they could probably cut costs, but not as much as you might think. So it's really going to be, a few of them have kind of said, well, maybe we would, if we did the second one, maybe we could cut a couple thousand off instead of it being twice as much. It's a couple thousand less than a twice as much. I spoke with SGR, who did not do an actual written proposal, but they basically said that they could cut $750 off, but that the city attorney, the way in which they do it and the way in which they advertise it usually costs $2,000 more anyway. So it's twice as much plus $1,250, right? So, but they are conceding that they would cut the cost down $750, but it's still $2,000 more to do the attorney one. So, and that's the basic information. I guess the question you guys sort of have along those lines too is if you have a one person that you're working with and you like working with them and you want to do 2 of these and the price seems right, great. If you want to try to get one thing in place and then do the other, that's another way to do it. So, and that's up to this group.
Thank you, Mr. Lindsay. I appreciate that. Ms. Stein, anything you want to add?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. All right, so council, we had the recruitment matrix piece that was sent out and in the packet. I'm opening the floor for you all to have some conversation about, are we combining? Are we going separate? Are we starting one sooner than the other? What say you? Council President Hensley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe since you and I've been through this several times, we know it can be kind of harried. I think that we can best serve the community if we focus on one at a time, especially given the news that it really wouldn't be a great cost savings. So I think we should focus on one at a time and make sure we get it done right. And we should start with the administrator.
Okay, thank you for that. Councilor Banks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe we should do both at the same time. I think you're looking at 2 different applicant pools, and I prefer to get these positions filled as soon as possible.
All right, thank you for that. Councilor Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. I would concur with Counselor Hensley, that I think that it's important to do one at a time. We have a very good relationship with our interim city attorney during that process, but I also think it's important, since that position is going to be inside the building with the new city administrator, I think it's important to try to get the city administrator on, let them either be part of the process or make a recommendation to us after they're on board.
Thank you for that. And I guess I will add as food for thought for everyone. The city of Tualatin just completed a city attorney search. Yes, city attorney search. And that process took them almost 2 years to find a candidate. Knowing that, Counselor Davis and Council President Hensley, does that change your opinion on getting started at the same time?
No,
Okay.
Mayor, I still would like, I mean, we do have a good interim solution at this point. And I really think it's important for the new city administrator to have some input to the process.
Okay. Counselor Maldonado, Counselor Banks, go ahead.
Yes, sorry, I for some reason I don't have a little hand symbol to throw up here for you guys. I would agree with Counselor Hensley and Counselor Davis. I believe we are in a position where we can do one at a time.
Okay. Counselor Bangs and Counselor Varwig.
Yeah, I have a question for those of you or whomever would like to answer. What benefit would we get from having the new city administrator weigh in on the hiring of the city attorney? Such that it would outweigh a potential delay of a year or two.
I'll answer that. You're making an assumption that it's going to take that long. And my experience has been that the city administrator is going to be in the building with this person, working very closely with this person. And I find nothing wrong with doing the contract interim at this time.
yeah, I agree with what Counselor Davis said. The person, Joe works very closely with Eileen, has worked with Scott, et cetera, on down the line. If they're going to be our duo, our team, they should have good working relationships. So I think that person should already be on board. And we have a good team on contract for the interim, so I don't see any urgency.
Agreed, Tracy, or Counselor Hensley, you said, you took the words right out of my mouth. I believe if they're going to be working shoulder to shoulder like that, I believe the administrator should be able to help pick whom is going to be working next to them, just for the sake of they're going to know how well they work. So you want somebody that's going to be able to work well with you and mesh well with you.
Well, I'm going to just play devil's advocate for y'all. So our current city attorney, Mr. Lindsay, has been with us for 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
Our previous city attorney was with us, Mr. Lindsay, was it 50 years?
Yeah, it's forever. It was in the high 20s.
Yeah, I knew it was 20 plus years. And the average time spent by a city administrator in a city averages about 3.5 years. Isn't that correct, Ms. Stein?
3 to 5.
Yeah,
is
3
the
to 5.
average tenure.
So if that being the case, why don't we hire the city attorney first and let them help decide on who the city manager is going to be?
All right, that's enough, Mr. Mayor.
No, I just reversing it up here. I mean,
I
I guess
appreciate your opinion, Mr. Mayor, but I think you already heard ours.
Counselor Varwick still has his hand up.
Thank you. I see that. Counselor Varwig,
Well, let me see if you guys can hear me. Can you hear me right now?
yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, great. I've got bad cell signal where I'm at, so just wanted to make sure. Yeah, I see both points, and I can go either way. My preference would be to hire city administrator first, for the reasons that were already stated. But again, I can understand why we would do it the opposite way also. My concern about doing them together at the same time really is just the fact that we have a limited amount of time, and we're to do both of them at the same time means that we're spending twice the amount of time on recruitment, and we've all got busy lives already, and this is a volunteer position. So I would prefer to do them one at a time, so that we can focus on one and then the other.
Okay. Counselor Bangs and Counselor Patton.
I have an economic question. Is a city attorney more expensive as an interim on a monthly cost than a regular city attorney? In other words, is there an economic argument to be made one way or the other on this? The same question applies for the city administrator, interim versus permanent.
I guess I'll answer that. Attorney is much more expensive. So the going rate for your interim, I believe, is $275 an hour. So even at halftime, that translates to about $25,000 a month. So even if they just do 20 hours a week, whereas the cost of the city administrator is the amount that you contract for. You don't get billed hourly.
So it sounds like the hourly cost is more expensive than the permanent cost.
It very much so.
Yeah, if you use them on a full-time basis, you're gonna pay more for your city attorney, certainly. The only way that I can, see trying to save costs is if you're not using them for every single legal matter that is out there. And in which case, staff is left to do some legal work by itself, which is potentially dangerous. But those are the trade-offs.
Yeah, you just have to learn to use them sparingly. If you literally had them work full-time for the year, it would be $572,000.
And that's not what you make now, Joe?
Yeah, no.
So I think we have an economic reason to do both of these at the same time. And since we're hiring a firm to do most of the work for us, I don't see as it's a burden that should be borne by the taxpayers of the community.
Okay, thank you, sir. Counselor Patton.
I would like to throw out a compromise. I understand both sides of this argument. I am for bringing on the city manager first because need to get some stability set for the staff here at the city. But I am definitely not for waiting until that process is completely done to start the next process. What I would like to throw out for folks to chew on is let's start the city administrator search, get it to the point where we are starting to deal with like interviews and bringing people in. And at that point in time, the firm can then start the process of accepting applications and such for the city attorney so that to phase them through. So after the city administrator is either just before, like we pretty much know who that person is, or it's down to the last three or so, that we are then to the process of starting to look at and vet our city attorney folks. So that way we save some of that time and kind of overlap things. What do folks think about that?
I like it.
You know, I wouldn't say that that's a bad idea, honestly.
Yeah, I like it.
I think it's a great compromise.
Yep.
I could live with that.
Can you
Okay.
roll that into a motion?
I don't think we can make that a motion. It would have to be, because this is under new business, we'd have to,
Just for you.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
you guys are trying to give us consensus on which recruiter to go with.
Right.
Yeah.
And you guys could make these decisions down the road. I would say there is one more argument that nobody's mentioned, and just to be helpful, is that if you're recruiting two things at once, you can't use one to brag about to the other. So if you get a really stellar hire in one, you can attract other people with having a good hire. So having somebody strong in place, no matter which side it is, allows the other to go, oh, okay, we have this great leader, or we have whatever. So I mean, there's that consideration too, that I just wanted to make sure you guys are considering everything. If I could be helpful.
That's a good point. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. All right, so what I understand, so if we're considering here on the table, it sounds like going first with the city manager recruitment, and then at some point when we feel that that process is far enough down the road, whatever that milestone is, then we would begin the city attorney search. Is that what I'm hearing
Correct.
consensus wise?
Yes.
Okay. So with that,
and I think if we choose one firm to do both, that they can help us determine when that phasing can happen.
okay,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yep.
So then I guess that brings us to the piece about which recruitment firm does this group want to use? Yes, Counselor Davis.
I just have a question for the ones that Joe and other people that were involved in the last process. Were you satisfied with the firm that we used?
Well, last time we used McKinney and Peckham and McKinney. And they didn't throw in because they were too busy this time. We've used Prothman in the past, but Prothman has separated, and I want to be careful about how I say this, but that actually, we have two firms in place that have pieces of that broke into two. So Prothman and PMG are actually, in a sense, who we've gone with in the past, because that firm went into two.
Oh, that firm went into two then?
Yeah.
Oh, got it. They split up.
Yeah.
So we're kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
So I'm not, but capable, and they have ways of reaching out to people and advertising and all
You
that
feel
sort of thing.
comfortable with either firm?
Personally, I've seen them both, or all of them actually do good work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mayor and Sean and Tracy, what's your thoughts?
What we got?
Well, previously, I mean, with the Prothman team, the person that's now heading up GMP, I mean, I believe that he was one of the main people on the Prothman group. I would be satisfied in using either one of them. I'm not familiar with Jensen or SRG. Though both of them come highly regarded as well.
Yeah, likewise, I've been wanting to figure out how to decide between the two Prothman businesses there. I don't know which one to go with, but I am leaning towards one of them, Prothman or GMP.
Okay, Counselor Bangs.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the GMP. And by the way, the P in GMP is Prothman. But I'm leaning towards GMP.
Thank you. Counselor Varwig?
Jim.
Yeah, I'm on either of the Prothmans is fine with me. You know, the thing that I think about is I want what's best for our community. And so for me, it's coming to an agreement on a company that puts their name out there and spends time being known. And Jensen and the other one, I just don't know them. I don't see them at the LOC conferences. I don't see them anywhere, but I see Prothman. So I'm good with either one. If people are leaning towards the GMP, I'm good with that one, but I'm between either that or the Prothman by name.
Okay, thank you, sir. Counselor Patton, Counselor Maldonado, any opinions?
I agree with Sean. I don't know enough about the other ones. GMP, I definitely like that idea better.
Okay,
Jason?
GMP.
okay. Well, as I tally here, based on our conversation, it appears that GMP edges out Prothman and who we want to try to work with. So Joe and Eileen, the next steps, is that opening up a discussion with them?
Yeah, I can reach out and with them and loop you in if that works. Trying to kind of sequester who I think will be a candidate. So I'll make sure to get in touch with him and yourself, Mr. Mayor.
And I think what I throw out is fair warning, my computer is about to die. What I might throw out is GMP is our first choice and Prothman is the second in case Joe reaches out to them and GMP isn't available for whatever reason, then we would move on to Prothman.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Good idea. And he got right back to us with this change. So I think he seems like very on the spot and ready to go.
He is in Prothman or
GMP.
GMP? Okay. Good. My gosh, I'm on a roll. I've had 2 good ideas tonight. I'm gonna take this as a win.
Something in the water.
It's because TikiCon is this weekend. I think the stars are aligning.
Oh,
Okay, so we've got GMP is first, Prothman is second, and we'll go from there. And then depending on how this process goes, we'll work with them to determine the milestone that we begin the attorney search. Okay,
Now, is this something that we would be, do you think it's something we could have? I'm assuming we would need to do like a resolution to move forward with whatever company it is, correct?
Well, if I'm hearing that and it's under the amount of 50,000, there's expenditure authority up to 50,000. So we could just contract with them and then they'll show up to put together the description of the place and the scope of what you guys are looking for and
Okay,
and do all the next steps. So yeah, I mean, it should be smooth. Yeah.
okay.
And if I'm reading right, I think that's going to come in around under 40. So I think we're there
Okay,
between.
well,
Both
for
are-
both of them, for under 40.
Mhm.
Okay, that's great. I was gonna say, if not, what I would like to see is if it at all possible for us to get it on the 5th.
Yeah.
So that way, we get it going.
Okay, well, either way, that'll happen.
Perfect.
okay. That takes care of old business.
Mayor, I have one other item of old business that Jamie asked if I would get clarification from the council about, and that is the community enhancement grants. We received an enhancement grant from Canby Kids for $2,000 for this fiscal year. Canby Kids provides 5 different sports services. And they had requested of the council previously to funding in support of their ongoing efforts with the sports they represent. During the presentation, Canby Kids requested $15,000 to support the nonprofit's efforts. We're wondering if it would be okay. There is money left in this fund. We're wondering if it would be okay to approach Canby Kids and offer $2,000 per sports for a total of $10,000 rather than a one-time grant of $2,000, which would be $400 per sport.
Yes.
I would agree.
I support that.
Counselor Davis,
We have it in the budget, you said.
Yes, there's money in the budget.
I'd be in favor of it.
I would have no problem with it. I just am curious. So do we know how much money? Like, so the grant process has been opened up twice. So now we're done with the second round.
Right.
And like, as far as if there were any grants that were denied because of some sort of odd problem with their application or anything like that, just make sure we're spreading that money out as far as we can before giving it all to one group.
Yes.
If there's like more than, if there's like $15,000 in there, then it's less of a, it would rub me, it wouldn't be as big of a deal to me as if there was, you know, just $10,000 in there and there were 4 people who had great
Get
ideas.
funded,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I did ask Jamie that question. There was one applicant that despite going back to them and asking them to clarify their application, we still didn't get a good sense of what they're asking for. So we are going to turn that one down. But even if we had granted that one and these 4 additional $2,000 amounts, we would have money available.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, then I would have no problem with it.
Great, thank you. I will let her know. Great. That's all I have.
And could we get an audit of that program of how much money, even after this, how much money wasn't used?
Yes.
Thank you.
And this is fiscal year 23 money, which closes tomorrow, the
Yep.
fiscal year. You know, the day after, we'll have a whole new appropriation to be able to do grants next year.
Okay.
okay. We have completed our agenda for the evening. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Mayor,
So moved.
So
Mayor,
Counselor Davis, yes?
just for those that live on the north side, I thought I'd let you know, I'm on a group meet with Canby Utility, and they said that they have had a significant outage on the north side, which you probably already know about, but they are working on it.
Well, that explains a lot. That's why I lost you guys twice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief Davis. Appreciate that. So is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved by
Third.
Council President Hensley, seconded by Councilor Maldonado to adjourn our special meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Everybody have a great night.
Anyone opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Canby, thank you very much. City Hall, thank you all for being there. Appreciate it. Have a great Independence Day, y'all.
Yeah. Happy 4th.
See you guys at the parade.
Have a good one.